Well, 41 long years ago, I was the Paris bureau chief of Fortune magazine, and I read about a movie producer in Tunisia who had created or helped to create films such as Star Wars and the Indiana Jones movies, and I'm thinking, I never heard of an Arab movie producer, and I never heard of a movie producer in Tunisia. So as a journalist, I'm thinking, I'm looking for offbeat stories. I thought, how could anything get more offbeat than this? So I went down to the Tunisian desert, and I spent some days interviewing the great Tariq Ben Ammar. When I arrived there was a film being directed by Roman Polanski. He was riding around on his bicycle, stripped to the waist. And I said, well, it's unusual to have an Arab being the leading Arab in the whole movie industry. And he said, I think he's more of a preppy than an Arab, he said. But that remark probably shows the great kind of cross-cultural influence that this man has had, going from Georgetown University on to growing up in Tunisia, and then his tremendous influence in the US movie industry as well. Then, fast forward a number of years, decades, and the Weinstein scandal breaks, and who is on the board of the Weinstein companies but Tariq, and who is trying to bring down Harvey Weinstein for stealing from the company but Tariq, and it happened. And so I immediately got in touch, and he gave me a wonderful story that I also did for Fortune magazine. So we completely reconnected, and then I have the honor of reconnecting with Tariq again, and he summoned me to here, which I do whatever he tells me to do. And I went from our original meeting in the Tunisian desert to the desert right here in Saudi Arabia. By the way, I do have a connection with Saudi Arabia because I went to a little prep school in New Jersey called the Hun School, where the sons of King Faisal were educated. And so I learned all about the career of Ibn Saud, which I know is a great historical figure that Tariq has always been anxious to do a film about. So Tariq, what are you doing in this desert?
Well, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. My relationship with Saudi Arabia, Sean, is 52 years old. I came here as a young man to go to Mecca and Medina with my family. Yeah. My family was connected to the president of Habib Bourguiba, first president of Tunisia. And as I was growing up, I knew of the history when I was not born, that Habib Bourguiba was helped in his exile by the late King Abdulaziz bin Saud in being able to fight the resistance and obtain independence. So I had this emotional relationship with Saudi Arabia in discovering it over the years. I wanted to start to do a film about Abdulaziz bin Saud, but I was wrong because I had no experience, no knowledge, and I do believe it should be done now. Certainly His Royal Highness, the Prince, doesn't need my advice for that, but of course I would help in any way. And then all of a sudden, a young man, the age of my son, His Highness Prince Bedr, who I didn't know, I had heard of, First Minister of Culture, asks to meet me in Paris. I was very intrigued. I had come back to Saudi over the years, saw the evolution, and this young man, the age of my son, who's here in the audience, with his affection, respect, and vision of 2030, said, "You're our cousin, uncle, come and help us. You've created a film industry in your country. Please come." I didn't know that at that age, so we're talking 6 years ago. Yeah. At 70, I wasn't going to have a new career, but he provoked me because I've always wanted to be proud of a new Arab nation, of a new Arab leadership. And I had been blessed to have met the Crown Prince before he became Crown Prince. And also this young man told me of a vision. I said to myself, oh my gosh, if they really do what they're saying, this is the future, the present and the future. So he tempted me. He did even more. he gave me a box. I thought it was chocolates or dates, as the Saudis are great hosts, very generous. And I opened the box, and there was a little television screen to show you how good they are, with a little film in color, in music. Welcome to Saudi Arabia, the new kingdom. You are now part of the community of Saudi Arabia. And there was a residency card. So all of a sudden, I became a Saudi resident. So I really felt Saudi. So I said to myself, if I was younger, what would I do? And if God gives me some health for a while, how can I help this country with the means, the vision, the youth? Every leader is half my age. So I said, let's put them on the map. Let's try and put Saudi on the map. With one incredible exception, is when I was at the Milken conference in Abu Dhabi, His Highness the Crown Prince opened up movie theaters, and that was 2020, 5 years ago. There were practically no theaters. And now there's 700 theaters. The key to this market is the youth.
Yeah.
When you have a market and you have your population, you talk to your population, you make films for them, you make films about their culture, and then you export films. The way the Spanish, the French, the Saudis, the Italians make films, then they export them. So what I did is the gentleman that you've interviewed before, Tony Vinciguerra, who's a dear friend. I am in business with Sony, Paramount, and many studios. I distribute them in Italy. I went to Tony and I said, look, Tony, seeing is believing. Whatever you hear about Saudi, come with me. And because Tony had met His Highness Prince Badr in California, he saw the energy and the youth, and Vice Minister Hamid Fayez, who has really been incredible. He came last year and I said, what do you think? He said, unbelievable.
Yeah.
We went to Jeddah, we came back here, I saw Riyadh. And then thanks to the Prince, we said, what are we going to do? So the CDF was this incredible culture development fund. I don't think there is a culture development fund in Western countries, let alone Arab countries. So they're the first in everything here. First time they have a minister of culture. First time they do a cultural investment conference. First time they create and so we said, what can we do? They said, let's create a film fund. A film fund? There's no film fund that there is a government, 40%, cultural development fund, and private individuals, as myself and others. So we've created, I'm happy to announce that the Riviera Content Fund for film industry, both for Saudi and for international, has been created, and we are already investing in films with Sony, with Paramount, and with Universal, because I wanted them to be on the map the way I was put on the map, thanks to Star Wars. Sorry, I was long.
Yeah, no, not at all. Yes, and the company is based here in Saudi Arabia.
Yes, it will be. It is a Saudi company because I'm a Saudi resident.
Yeah.
So the majority is a Saudi company with our partner Empire, who already has a presence here in exhibition, and Sony. We will distribute all of Sony and all of MGM, and that will give us power to impose Saudi films. As you know, the market is the exhibitors. The movie theaters want a Superman. They want a Mission Impossible. Well, then we use that to impose a new director, a new small movie that needs to be helped.
Yes, and I think you said there are some movies already running in Saudi Arabia doing more business than in Italy.
Oh, absolutely. Well, some of the Saudi films have gone through the roof, which tells you that youth here want to know about their stories, about their culture. Like any country, people identify with local stories. And then maybe, you know, for example, a Saudi woman director, Haifa al-Mansour, has broken out in the world. First started here and then made international movies. So yes, my desire is to use the money from big commercial movies, which we are bringing. He mentioned Bad Boys. Equalizer 3, we produced with Sony, made more money in Saudi than in Italy or Spain. So this market is going to be exponential. I can compare it to what China was when China opened to theaters.
Yeah, And do you see a mix between both Arabic language films
Yes.
and English language
Definitely.
blockbusters?
Yes.
Yeah.
The first in the box office are Hollywood movies.
Number one.
Number one.
Yeah.
Then right after are Arab films, principally Egyptian. As you know, Egypt has been the leader
Yeah.
in films for 100 years. And so the idea now is to take Saudi talent with Egyptian talent, and which they've done. I'm certainly not the only one that's doing this. So there's some great producers here. There's a company called Telfaz. They've made some incredible successes. And my idea is to, look, I really, at this moment in my life, I wanted to pass the ball to the new generation.
Yeah.
Prince Bedr is the new generation. And so he put me in contact, and the bureaucracy disappeared. The film commission, creating the company, the permits, it's incredible what they're doing. It's like a turbo charge. So maybe while I'm still on this earth, I thank God, I'll see the results by 2030.
Well, you made a good point about the rapidity at which things are done, how fast the hotels are done, how fast the entire historic district turned into this architectural wonder. That may not be typical of the entire movie industry, Tariq. So
This is the new world.
yeah,
This is the new world. Youth, vision, means, desire, market, facility. No, I went to talk to Princess Noura University in front of 600 ladies. I've never seen such freedom of speech. I was not coached. I was not told what to say. I was so impressed that I went to see some of the leaders and I said, you guys are in trouble. The women are going to take over.
Yeah.
They are so free.
Yeah.
And this is thanks to the Crown Prince, who has given the freedom. With freedom, you move ahead. Non-freedom, you stay backwards. Remember, Saudi Arabia, for those who haven't been here before, was really asleep for 30 years, with no disrespect to the leaders before. But it really was going at a very slow pace. It's this new youth leadership that put the accelerator to where we are today.
yeah. You came here as a kid to go to Mecca. You came back as a businessman, not dealing with some very prominent Saudi figures. Did you ever imagine anything happening at this pace or at this? It's almost like a cultural big bang, isn't it, Tariq?
It's also, I think, vision of God. I mean, this is the land of Islam. I think there was a moment that this land had to be the leader in many sectors, in mine, films and television and culture. This is the only culture conference in the world.
Right.
There is no other culture. So that kind of gives you how lucky I am to deal with them.
Yeah. Well, listen, we've developed an entire new asset together, which is our age and our air of dignity, right?
Youth.
Since we started back 41 years ago.
I'll pass on the ball to the young generation.
Thanks. Such a pleasure, Tariq, to
Thank
work
you.
with you again.
Thank you. Very honored. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, ladies.